Hey guys, Pretzelman 945 here. Welcome back to another video. In today's video, I'm going to be reviewing an anime that I finished yesterday, and the only reason I didn't review it last night when I finished it is because it was very late in the night. Um, so therefore we are doing it here, bright and early in the morning at 7:43 a.m. And the anime that I'm reviewing is Wotakoi or um Otaku ni Koi wa Mizukashi, I believe is the full Japanese title. Basically means love is hard for an otaku. And um this is a romance anime, fully adult one about about two pairs of otaku couples in the office, and it sort of starts off immediately with them already dating the main couple, Narumi and Hirotaka. And then there's Hanako and I know it's Kabakure, but I don't remember his first name. I'm just gonna call him Kabakure, I think. Um, so it's essentially like centering around those two, and then there's also some time devoted to Hirotaka's little brother Naoya and a friend who develops a crush on him, uh, Ko Sakuragi. Um, this I I had heard a lot of different things about Wotakoi, about like I heard a lot of people telling me it would be, and I wouldn't go that far. I think it's very good. Um, it just definitely was not what I was expecting. Um, uh, because I guess that, and maybe this does happen with more of the manga material because I did some research, and apparently the anime only adapted like uh 29 chapters of the manga, maybe a little bit more when you include the 3 episode OVA. Uh but the total was like something around 85, 90 chapters. um and so there's probably a good bit of content in there which might uh you know talk about what I'm talking about here, but um sort of show more of things going on in the relationship. And what I mean by that is sort of like um meaningful progression points, sort of like uh a first kiss, getting engaged, maybe ending in marriage or something. I don't know. Maybe that's how the manga ends. I don't know. That's why I said like maybe there's more of that in the manga itself. Um, but what I guess took me by surprise is the fact there wasn't as much of that as I was expecting. Instead, there was just a lot more episodes of like them being in a relationship, which is like um it's a unique thing that I haven't really seen a romance anime do before. Like I've seen romance animes that display the parts of a relationship. In my opinion, like Kaguya-sama and Horimiya, those are, in my opinion, the best romance animes. I love it, love it, love it, love it when a romance anime shows that off, especially like a high school one, because I haven't really seen that many ones that aren't high school romance animes, to be honest, but like ones that really show that aspect of being in a relationship and not just ending with the confession scene. I love that a lot. Um and so what makes Wotakoi unique in this aspect though is that like there is literally just a lot more of this like going the simple day-to-day life of a relationship, like them just casually hanging out on a frequent basis. Um, there's never really a whole lot of like deep emotional conversations, or they don't really work through issues. And I actually, I think that this is a really good thing because it makes Wotakoi very, very unique in this aspect. Um, if anything, Habakura and Hanako portray this a lot more in terms of like going through relationship problems. But I'll talk about them in a minute. Um, so my favorite thing about Wotakoi by far is this incredibly unique aspect that it has where it is just portraying the simple relationship aspects of a relationship, like just the simple acts of hanging out, being around each other in a fond way. And it does this much more than any other romance anime I've ever seen, which is something that I really appreciate because it gives Wotakoi a unique identity among romance animes. Um, so yeah, I that's definitely my favorite part about Wotakoi. Um, and what's interesting is I feel like you can sort of get both perspectives of like, Narumi and Hirotaka, as I mentioned before, they seem to have the much more stable relationship, whereas Habakura and Hanako have the much more, I guess, flamboyant relationship where um it's not, I would say, unstable, but they tend to have petty arguments and disagreements a lot, which could lead one to question their compatibility a little bit. But ultimately, what I think that they do a great job of showing is sort of the opposite example of Narumi and Hirotaka, where it's like proving that every relationship can't be all sunshine and rainbows, and even if it's petty arguments, couples will fight about things. And I I think that by far the best aspect of this show is the way that it manages to portray romance in probably the most realistic way that I've seen in any romance anime. Um, and there is even a little bit of that sort of taste of uh the whole high school esque romance, even though Sakuragi and Naoya are both college students. But they like in the second episode of the OVA, Sakuragi ends up confessing. Sort of fake because she's just like, "Can we be best friends? I like you. Can we be best friends forever?" Uh, which I got to admit was sort of a letdown, but it's not a huge deal because their relationship is still quite sweet. Um, so even in that aspect, even though it's not high school specifically, it still does give off that vibe a little bit. So it's sort of even hits that little check mark, which I find fun. Um, but yeah, this was a really good romance anime. I'm very very glad I watched it, and if you happen to be someone that is getting bored of what like you want a adult romance to watch, which is not bogged down by a lot of the good and bad tropes of high school romances, I would uh I would recommend Wotakoi because it was a very, very enjoyable show. It's also just very, very funny, and there's a lot of hilarious like video game and anime references in here which just make you crack a smile. Um, and yeah, that's gonna do it for my review on the show and this video. If you have seen Wotakoi, let me know what you think of it in the comments below. And for now, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you later. Bye bye.